about that one, Mike?
Well, it's the proof instead of the mint state coin is ultimately what it comes down to.
Okay.
Okay, this is the coin right
This
here.
is the coin that we're excited about for the whole hour?
This is the set, yeah. This is the 2-coin set, first day of issue. A lot of firsts here that we're doing. I'm going to spend a little bit of time already 4 of these gone.
Right.
We just said something about it.
Right.
4 gone. I don't have that many. Here's ultimately what it comes down to. This has become, while it's technically an overnight sensation, it is it's something that we've been anticipating for a while. The United States government really kind of goofed on this one, in all honesty. I'm going to spend some time here. It may well be the only time that I have this available. I don't know. We have graded. Let me explain to you what this is. They did this little set. Let me show you the set right here. It's this thing called the Truman coin and Chronicles. They've done this with all of the presidents, okay, since then. And what they did is the coins then go here. There's a coin here. There's a dollar coin here, and they did a medal or something else here. It also has an 8-cent stamp from 1973. That's all part of this coin and Chronicles set. They've done these. They've done about 20 or 30,000 of each one of these. And then all of a sudden, for the Truman, they decided to cut that back to 17,000. Okay. To 17,000 coins, which would have been no big deal, and they probably wouldn't even have sold the 17,000, except they made the Truman coin in here. They made the Truman coin in here reverse proof.
Wow.
It's the only reverse proof presidential dollar that has ever been done. The only one that will ever be done. And I know it says 70 in parentheses there. I don't know why we keep doing that. It's not, that's parenthetical. That means it's kind of about, it's exactly 70. Okay?
Right.
So that is a 70, okay, period. It's not 70 parenthetically, okay? So that's technically incorrect with the parentheses. And so what you have here is basically the rarest reverse proof regular issue coin that the government's ever done. They actually did one reverse proof coin that was rare in 2006. They did a gold coin.
Okay.
That coin sells for about $10, $12, $15,000, something like that. Wow. With gold. But this coin, in terms of silver eagles, in terms of anything else, nothing else comes to the rarity of this particular coin right here. The only thing that even comes close to the rarity of this coin is going to be the 1995 W American Silver Eagle, which in 70 condition sells between $30,000 and $70,000. They made 30,000 of those. They only made 17,000 of these. It also comes with this medal, which, by the way, in Mint State 70 is extraordinarily difficult to buy in and of its own right. In Mint State 70, it's actually as hard to get as the reverse proof coin as well. Now, here's what it comes down to. I have graded, and they made 17,000 of these little coin and currency sets. I have been able to purchase and or commit to and buy and certify between all of my sources and everything. I've been able to buy about 4,500 of those sets. So about 25% of the entire mintage. Wow, good for you. Of the entire mintage that we've done. And I am now offering for the very first time the RP70s. The RP70s and the MF70s in the medallion. Now, for those of you that don't realize this, at this pricing at $1,299, it is actually a steal. As a matter of fact, go away in the marketplace. I don't believe you can find these. They have sold for as much in PCGS as $25,000 for the pair already. Okay. They represent only a tiny fraction. Only a tiny fraction of the 17,000 are going to be in Mint State 70, and since I own 25% of the mintage, I've got about 25% of the available coins in Mint State 70 pairs in our first day of issue that you're going to see right here. So it's of crucial importance that you understand that. Now I'm going to have the Mint State 69s. Pairs, and I just want to show you those, and we can maybe put that number at the bottom of the screen. We'll get to those here in a little bit. I've got some Mint State 69 pairs. We had the single coin. I sold 900 of the pair of the single coin at $300+. We sold it out in a single airing for the Mint State 69s. I have the 2 coin sets. Like I said, the metal is actually harder to get even than the reverse proof coin, but it's not a coin; it's a metal. Right. So and I only have 279 of these. I'm assuming I may well sell these out as well. So that's the 69 set. You may see that at the bottom. I have 279 of those. Of course, obviously the 70s, and so in the 69s we've had 1,400 coins plus, okay? 1,400 coins plus. In the 70s, they are so phenomenally rare. They're going to be the rarest modern issue 70s that I think have been done in our lifetimes. I think this is one of the single most significant coins. The original set, when it came out right here, okay, because it had the 1 ounce coin and all on that, I think uncertified and ungraded now is selling for about a 400% premium.
400%.
Premium. So 4 times its original cost.
Wow.
Ungraded, uncertified.
Right.
Now.
And these are graded and certified.
These are graded and certified. I know the metals, for instance, have about a 65% rejection rate for 69.
So what about 70?
Okay, so 70, it's just, they're virtually impossible to find in 70. Once again, a metal, 1 ounce solid silver here. But this is the coin right here, that reverse proof trim. Like I said, go out there and try to find this. I've seen some, and you kind of look at some of those auction sites, which, you know, I'm not 100% sure, but they're like, you know, the PCGSs are, you know, 4,000, 6,000, 10,000. You know, some of the NGCs, I've not seen any of the ANACS coins. Some of the NGCs at, you know, 1,800, 2,400, 3,300.
So this really is a...
So at $1,299,
right.
I think this is probably the lowest advertised price you can get on the pair right here anywhere out there. The rarity of this set is going to do nothing but increase. And understand, there's 17,000. It's sold out in 4 minutes or 8 minutes or some ridiculous low number from the United States Mint. There's no doubt about that. It's sold out just almost instantaneously from the United States Mint. So that's one thing, okay? So that's sold out. Now, it is the first in a series. They're going to do another reverse proof. I think they're going to obviously make more of those. But this coin has created such a phenomenal stir that this coin has created because of its extraordinary and extreme rarity.
Right.
I mean, there's nothing in modern American numismatics that comes close to this coin right here. Like I said, while the metal is actually technically tougher, it's still a metal. Okay, so as you can see, I mean, it doesn't have the reverse thing. It's 1 ounce of silver. It's very cool. I think it's only available in this set. So, you know, for a metal collector, this is going to be absolutely huge, particularly in Mint State 70. But this coin, because it's a coin, if you will, okay, it's a regular coin, and it's a reverse proof coin. The only thing in reverse proof that comes close to me is the 2011. The 2011 reverse proof American Silver Eagle. They made 100,000 of that coin.
Wow.
So 6 times more. In this condition, it sells for about the same price. This coin is 6 times rarer. This coin is 6 times rarer than that coin. Okay? Please understand that this is literally twice as rare as the 95W. Now, if we go back to the 1995W, which is not even a reverse proof coin, it was just the first proof American Silver Eagle with a West Point Mint mark from the 10th anniversary set. That coin they made 31,000 of. In this condition, I have sold them here at HSN for $29,000 in 70.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, the PCGS coins have sold at auction for as much as $80,000.
So that's why you say it's almost like a mistake.
That's right. They just made so few of these, they could have sold 100 or 200 or 500 or 800,000. Instead, they did 17,000. It is so low, as a matter of fact, like I said, because of the rarity of this coin based on the small number. I mean, I've literally controlled almost 30% of the entire mintage. So 1 in 3 coins we have already sold. We will sell here at HSN through tonight 10% of the entire mintage in certified condition.
Wow.
So in other words, we will have sold 1,500 to 1,700 coins with the 69s. Like I said, the vast majority of them, you know, I've sold about a half a dozen of these. I mean, we've sold 1,000 of the 69s. I mean, that's kind of the percentage, okay, that you're looking at in terms of availability. And like I said, I don't know if we can put that item number. It's the next item. If we can put that at the bottom of the screen for them. The 69 pairs, which are exclusive to us here at HSN 279. That's the Mint State pairs. There we go. The 69 pairs. The 443790. I'm sure we're selling those already. At this point, we'll give you. We'll spend 8 or 10 minutes here in just a little bit on that. But the key to this right now is the fact that this is, and since it is first day of issue, it is exclusive to us. Now, because of how long we have spent trying to get these certified, I don't have certification numbers on these. Just like normally we put a number on these, but I can't estimate because they are so rare and so difficult to get. Handfuls of these are what we're looking at, and nobody else is in essence offering these. So in other words, you can't get this first day of issue pair anywhere. And like I said, good luck in any other of the grades, any of the other certification companies, whether it be PCGS or NGC or anywhere else, try to find this coin in essence by itself at $1,299.95. I don't think you can. I don't think you'll be able to. And now you add in first day of issue with us, which is ANACS, which is 100% exclusive to us here at HSN. Of course, it comes with all the original government packaging. It's going to come with the special box that you're going to see right here and all that as well. So very important. I think what we might want to do is kind of do some time limitations here.
Okay.
Would be my guess.
And we've already got a hold on the phones,
we already got a hold on the phones.
So you can always go to hsn.com and make your purchase if you want to. Just kind of like jump the line, as I always say, because this was not going to last. We expect this to sell out tonight here with Mike because it is that rare. There's like a fervor that's happening about this particular coin. And the fact that it's a set, as Mike was saying, just to find the coin by itself, you'd be lucky to see it for $12.99. But we're adding that metal, we're adding that stamp, so it's coming in the collection along with the wood box that's coming, the window box. There's this beautiful, beautiful collection that's all together for you. There is a hold right now, so don't delay, though. You jump on that hsn.com because I want to make sure that you get it. It's a beautiful coin, and it's that rare. There is this fervor, as I'm saying, right now.
And it is, and it's one of those things, I think, that now is the time to get it. It's brand new. Like I said, look, I remember selling the 95W. I remember selling that coin for, I think it was $500 or $800 back in the day before it's 30 grand like it is here. The rarity of this coin, and understand, a lot of people don't even know that this coin exists. Okay? A lot of people don't even know that this coin exists in essence. And as this special 2-coin set that's exclusive to us here at HSN, and like I said, go out there, you try to find that coin anywhere in any other certification for anything close to the $1,200. And understand, look, I know it's not quite, it's not for everybody at $12.99. Like I said, I have some of the 69 sets that are coming up, and I suspect, can we get a count? And we're already selling those, I'm assuming. There's only 279 of the pairs in the 69s that are going to be available there. I suspect we've already started selling significant quantities of those. We'll spend some time after this on these. But at this point, I've sold, and I've got these sets can be numbered in the dozens in essence with this. And understand, I've graded and have had access to almost a third of the entire quantity. We have spent 3 times, 4 times, 5 times original issue price for uncertified and ungraded sets, and then literally graded thousands and thousands of these sets. Nobody else has graded more sets than what I've been responsible for grading here. And we're getting to the point now where just about all the coins that can be made will have been made, is ultimately what it comes down to. With this at $1,299.95. Like I said, I know it's not for everybody, but for, I think, probably one of the single most important collectible coins made by the United States government in the last 50 years. I mean, I can't impress upon you enough the rarity, the desirability of this coin that you have right here.
Because of the reverse piece.
Because of the reverse proof. The other coin that comes to mind that comes in to the desirability, the rarity, the collectability of this particular coin would be the Sacagawea enhanced uncirculated coin. If you recall that coin. They made 50,000 of those out of the coin and currency set. This is a coin and Chronicles set. In 70, that coin is sold for $5,000 to $7,000. It's another extraordinarily rare coin in a 70 condition, in an EU 70 condition. This coin, by the way, 3 times rarer than that.
Wow.
There is nothing in modern American numismatics in terms of a regular issue coin, whether it be enhanced uncirculated, whether it be reverse proof. I mean, there are $50 gold eagles, but that kind of falls outside the purview of regular issue. There is no regular issue coin that even comes close to the rarity of this coin. It was sold out in literally minutes from the United States government, What we have got right here is that opportunity for you to own this coin at a significant price. In other words, I challenge you to go out there and find this for less money.
Right.
Okay? And first day of issue, of course, nobody else sells it, so it's exclusive to us, so it can't be less money from that standpoint. I know that. That's an absolute positive guarantee. But the coin itself, the rarity, the collectability, the desirability of this coin is virtually unprecedented. It's not virtually, it is unprecedented in modern American numismatics. The United States government really committed a significant faux pas when they did this coin. They should have done 50 or 75 or 100,000. They don't seem to know their product. They don't realize that they did the very first reverse proof presidential dollar here, that it would be a big deal. I don't know how they wouldn't realize that. I don't know how they wouldn't know that. Now, what happens is they're going to do a Dwight David Eisenhower after this. It is going to be, you think the gold rush in 1849 at Sutter's Mill in California was something? That's going to be an even bigger deal. It's just absolutely going to be senseless. It'll be silly. What's going to happen with that? The minute's going to take so many troubles. It's going to crash the website. I mean, it's just because basically every one of these that you can get ungraded, uncertified, it's like making $200.
Right.
I mean, instantaneously.
Like boom,
so it's just like that, and you're able to get 5 of these per household. So basically, it's like, you know, making $1,000 if you could just be on your computer at the right time. But people know that now. Now, in retrospect, this sold out in 8 minutes with nobody knowing about it.
8 minutes.
8 minutes. It sold out from the United States Mint, and instantaneously it was selling for triple the issue price. That's not the ungraded and uncertified. So you have to understand that in RP70, every coin grading company put together, all of them, every PCGS, NGC, ANACS, the whole deal, there's going to be probably less than 1,000 of these in RP70 in a coin that is so significantly rare, that is it is going to be, and I own, like I said, a third of the entire mintage of these, okay, between me and all my associates that we have done this. Nobody else has the quantity that we have, and literally we can number these coins in the dozens of these. And as we get these coins coming in and certifying and being first day of issue and matching all those first day of issue criteria, and then you're going to have the RP70. And I've got to tell you, do not underestimate the importance of the Mint State 70 metal. And I know it's a metal and not a coin, okay? I know it's a metal and it's not a coin. I get that. But the metal is significantly harder even to grade than this. I will be selling some of these coins individually at some point, okay? This is the coin, this is the metal, this is what makes the pair, in my opinion. As like I said, I'm having well over 50% metals that don't grade at all.
Right, and this is a 70
grade at all.
Right.
That's right. That don't grade at all, let alone 69 or 70 on that. So a spectacular opportunity at what could literally be a one-time opportunity for you to be able to own this pair in absolutely perfect 70. You're one of the few people out there that are going to be able to buy this. You're one of the few people out there that are going to be able to own this in its absolute highest grade at a price that is, I understand $12.99.95 is significant, but the rarity of this coin stands on its own. And then this coin in 70, normally when we grade something like this in 70 condition, we're going to get 50 or 60% 70s for a brand new coin like that. Absolutely, positively not the case in this, okay? Single digit 70s is what we're looking in here. So for 100 sets graded, you might get 2 or 3 or 4 of these is what it comes down to. So you've got to grade literally thousands of sets to be able to get any quantity of these whatsoever. Of course, it comes with all the original government packaging. We're going to ensure that. You're going to get the presentation box and everything with that as well. So once again, a tremendously unique opportunity for you. A tremendously unique opportunity for you to own what I believe to be it is the rarest modern issue United States government coin. There's nothing in modern issue American numismatics that comes close to this. I mean, there's nothing that comes close to this, particularly in a regular issue coin. The closest thing to this is in terms of a regular issue coin, in other words, a coin that has been released for circulation in its regular format as opposed to the special presentation, is the enhanced uncirculated Sacagawea golden dollar, which they made 50,000 of. We've sold that coin in EU 69 for as much as almost $200 for that coin. This coin 3 times rarer than that. The 70s in the Sacagawea selling for thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. This coin 3 times rarer than that. So please understand, that is, and I'm not talking about 70s, I'm talking about the sum total of all of the miniatures. 150 million Americans that collect coins. 17,000 of you can own this coin right here. In RP70, probably, you know, tonight 100 people can own this. I mean, you know, less than 100 people is all that we have. Like I said, our first day of issues are normally numbered. We were simply unable to number this because as we're grading thousands and thousands of coins, the numbers are so incredibly tiny. We don't want to make it, you know, 57 and then have to go to 59 or something like that. We have to establish that. So what you have is extraordinary rarity here. We can number the 69s because we get those back pretty quick, and I'm going to show you those here in just a minute. So remember what your opportunity is. Look at exactly what you're trying to get here. 1,200 in the next hour. We may bring this back a little bit, but what I'd like to do is I'd kind of like to get to that the Mint State 69, if I may. The Mint State 69 sets right here. Continue to call in. Like I said, these are numbered in the dozens. These are numbered in the dozens. It's important for you to understand what your opportunity is. Like I said, go out there, look around. We get a 30-day money-back guarantee. You can understand what your opportunity is on this particular set. The key is you really, really, really have to take advantage of it right here, right now.
Okay, so we're just a few more moments on that 70 proof that we're talking about, the grading, and that, you know, it's really an amazing opportunity for it. There's like a fervor, it's like a feeding frenzy going on right there on the